Alright, it's still Wednesday. All the blades you saw in the last video are heat treated. They are in the tempering oven, and that's going to take some time. The J&L Skinners are hanging up with the finish drying, the first coat. And while all that is doing its thing, let's turn our attention back to this knife here. Now, like I said, I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. They just didn't know what it was supposed to be. So what I'm doing, I'm going to take this leather off. The leather looks okay. I can reuse that, especially since the slots are already cut in. That'll save me a full day of cutting slots. So the leather's not bad, it's just not put together properly. And we'll get to the point, I will take each piece apart and rough it up real good before I re-glue it so it stays together. Now see, the tang of the knife has not been anything done to it. A little bit of rust on there, it's a little rough. I will put that on the grinder and clean it off good before I mess with the leather anymore. I'm going to get the blade ready. So I'm going to go ahead and see the finger guard is rusty and all that. I'll get the blade ready and get it gun blued. Still don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to have to address that. Okay, see, that does fit flush. It was on there upside down, as it's supposed to be flush. See, upside down, it's not flush. So the next step is to clean this blade up real good. Now the blade itself, I'm not going to put on the grinder. I'm going to do that by hand sand it, because it's really not in bad shape. It just needs to be cleaned up good. But this, I'm going to have to take some of these pits out and get that treated real good so it don't rust from the inside out. So while I'll go ahead and show you right quick. It won't take but a few minutes, I hope. Let's move this over here to somewhere. Bear with me, bear with me. Yes, I'm back with this little stupid tripod. Okay, that's not a real rough belt. It's just a semi. Semi-grit. I forget which grit it is. Alright, noise alert. Watch your ears. This is going to get loud. Wait a minute. Put my dust mask on. Now, I didn't get it very hot at all. Dip it in water. Cool it down. And I got a rag right here somewhere. Hang on. Alright, paper towel. This is good. Now, whoops. I'm going to throw it on the floor. Now it's cleaned off. And I'm just going to mount it in the vise now. And start with an 80 grit paper. Smooth it out. A little bit of rough stuff here and there. Then I'll keep going down until I get it to the point where I want it. When I get to the gun bluing part of it, I'll show you that. Well, good Thursday morning. It is the wee hours of the morning. A little after 1 o'clock. I cannot sleep. So let's go ahead and go to the next step on the K-bar. Now I've got the blade cleaned up like I want it. Now I'm not going to try to make it look brand new. Still got some of the character marks in it, but it's smooth. Some of these pits in here you could sand for 2 days and not get them all out. So we're going to put the blue on there, the first coat. Now, this is just plain old gun blue. A little bit of this goes a long way. What I like to do is put a little bit in that lid like that. Paper towel for blowing away. First thing I'm going to put is coat on the tang. And if you've never used gun blue before, you can tell it instantly turns that blue color. Now I use a foam brush for this kind of stuff. I can get one good even coat on it all at one time. Like that. Now the blue will actually hide some of those little marks that's still in there. Okay, now as per directions, you let it sit 1 minute and then wash it off with water, cold water, and buff it lightly with some steel wool, which is what I'm going to do here in just a minute. Clean it up again, dry it real good, and go on with your second, third, however many coats you want to put on there. I usually like 3 coats. Now I'm going to take this out to the sink. I'm not going to take the camera out there because even with the light on, it's dark out there. You won't be able to see. But that's all they are to gun bluing. Like I said, since I can't sleep, I'll just fool around with this for an hour or two, and maybe I'll be able to fall asleep here in a minute. Know what happened after supper? I had a cup of coffee with me. That's why I can't sleep. Alright, I'll show you what it looks like after the third coat. Alright, here we go. That is actually 4 coats of gun blue. That's still a little bit dull. Then in the very end, when I polish it on the buffing wheel, it will turn a darker blue color and be shiny and protected. A little bit of oil on it. It will not rust ever. Now, I went ahead and set that back on there. No, I guess I can leave that off for right now because I've still got to do something with this. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to wrap the blade up. Wrap it up in a paper towel. one thing, because I don't want to cut myself, because it's not sharp, but it's sharp enough to cut you. Wrap this up so when I start to glue the leather back in, whenever I do that, I won't spill any on the blade and make a mess and have to redo it. Oh, there we go. I think I got a plan for that. Because I did clean this up, put some glue on that. Now the top cap, still got to clean that up real good, and I'll do that sometime tomorrow. Grind it off real nice to make it look good. But what's got to happen is it sits here, and that's supposed to brad over to hold it in place. I may just take this off and shorten it by that much, because that would be the best solution, I think, instead of trying to extend this. Remember, the one I did, I had to extend, but I had about that much I had to extend. But I'll try that and see how it looks. If I have to extend it, I have to. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for the wee hours of the morning. Might be able to go to sleep now. We'll see. Alright, I'll see y'all on the next step. Alrighty, it is still Thursday. I've had me a nap. I've already been to the post office this morning. And let's go on to the next step. What I'm going to do, the handle is round handle, and it's not going to be any bigger than the end cap, which I've already cleaned up the end cap. Forgot to show that. Got it nice and smooth and pretty. What I'm going to do is mark each one of these pieces so you can see that. And to save so much grinding, I'm just going to knock off the majority of but more than likely, you know, I'd have to grind that off, and that would take up probably a complete sanding belt to do as much. Y'all remember how thick it was. I'm going to do that to each and every one of them. It's going to take a little while. That's okay. And we have a big bad thunderstorm just to the north of us. Chances are we'll lose power. We're getting the outskirts of the rain now. It's just one of those summertime things. Glad it finally rained though, and it hadn't rained in a day and a half. There we go. I'll continue on, and when I start to get it ready, when I get it all ready to glue up, I'll show you that. And I have figured out this, if it works. If it don't, I'll figure out something else. Alrighty, I'll be back when I get all these done. Now I've got all that done, got my epoxy mixed. Now I'm mixing in small amounts because this is quick set. I've got about 5 minutes working time with each little batch. I'm just going to start stacking it on there like that. This takes a little time. At the same time, I'm trying not to get it all over everything. Trust me, I'll have it all over me before I get done. The next one. Now before, they had it sort of glued together with I know what they used. It's a leather adhesive product they sell there at the store. It's a name brand product. I mean, a lot of people might use it, but to me it is not any more than Elmer School Glue, which is fine for what it's for, but it doesn't have any strength in my opinion, because I've got a jar of it in there that I think I paid $8 for it, and it does not work for me. This Kwikset epoxy will hold almost anything. I use it for all my handles and things like that, and I've never had anything come loose, come apart. And gluing the sheath together, I use a different glue, Duco cement, that you can get most anywhere. I use that on the sheaths. I think I've got enough mix for one more. When this sets, it's there, nothing will move, everything will be hunky-dory. Thunderstorm went on to the north of us. Got a little spattering of rain. If I didn't mention it before, we had another bad one early this morning. It actually woke me up from my nap. There we go. Now I'm going to continue this all the way up to almost the top, and then we'll have to go to another step, and I'll show you that next. And after that, we will probably call this part 1. I don't want to drag it on too awful long. See there, I told you, it got it all over me. But that's okay. Let this dry a few minutes and then I'll start all over again. I'll be back. Alright, getting down to the end here. Thought I'd show you what I'm going to do on the final pieces here. I may have to mix just a little bit more. If you mix too much, you waste it. If you don't mix enough, you don't have enough. Alright, I'm going to have to mix just a tiny bit more. Hang on, I'll go ahead and let it run and show you. That should be plenty. Now, there are a lot of different epoxies you can use, and they're all good. I use DevCon or the store brand, which is what this is, local hardware store brand, which if you read very closely or look it up online, it is made by DevCon, and it's $1 cheaper. Alright, there's the last piece of leather. See, got it all over me. Now the top cap, I'm going to stick it on with epoxy also. But in part 2, I'll show you how I'm going to really secure it. Now this knife is not going to be used. It is a keepsake type thing, but I want it to be to where it can be used if somebody decides they want to use it. Because what good is a knife if you can't use it? Alright, I hope I got the camera, y'all can see this. Now, there's the top cap. Put it right there. And notice there's about a little more than 1/8 of an inch sticking out. And I didn't chop it, I didn't shorten it, I left it like it was. And I'll show you how I'm going to secure that. Like I said, in part 2. Now, there's the handle. I know it's still ugly, but when I get the grinding done, and we'll go through the grinding steps, it will be pretty. It will look like a K-bar knife is supposed to look. Alright, there we go. Let's move the camera. I hope y'all are enjoying this. A couple of young knife makers out there that's trying to get started. This is how you do it, but this is how I do it. I'm sure you can put your own twist on different things. I told Amanda I would have it ready in about a week, and Saturday makes a week, so I hope I'm done with it tomorrow. I'll do some more on it this afternoon to start the second part of the video. But the sheath is about an hour and a half of work. I'm not worried about that. That's the easy part. The hard part's going to be securing this top plate properly, so it don't look like it's been done by somebody that works underneath a pine tree. Alright, that's going to dry, and I'm going to get back to work on these other ones I showed you yesterday. I said I had 2 gauchos available, or going to be available shortly. Now we're down to 1 gaucho. One of them is spoken for. So I will have very soon a gaucho, a creek skinner, and a J-no skinner available. So now wait a minute. A gaucho, a creek skinner, a gaucho and a creek skinner is still available. And I hadn't put the handles on yet, so if you want one of them, let me know and we can decide the handle material. Alright, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. I'll see you in part 2 tomorrow.